Amazing. Obviously, he has all the arm talent to make every throw on the field. And then you guys know his ability to create plays with his legs. It's tremendous. So I'm super excited to play with him. He's a vet. He's been here before. So just any way I can learn from him to help him be better, that's what I'm gonna try to do.
The Arizona Cardinals have become a fairly entertaining team to follow along for the 2024 season, and it's largely due to the new addition of rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. and the potential lethal combination of him and Kyler Murray tearing up defenses week in and week out. And so far in Cardinals minicamp, the Ohio State product looks exactly like everyone expected him to. Just from some of these clips, it's really easy to tell just how polished of a receiver that Harrison is. His route running, ability to get in and out of breaks, his hands, we saw a couple of fingertip grabs down the field, and even just his physical attributes, his size at over 6'4", his speed and explosiveness, it looks like he's gliding through the air. It's not hard to notice a very special player. And for a Kyler Murray who does have to play in a specific scheme due to his skill set, he's really needed a wide receiver that has the traits that Harrison provides the last couple of years. If you go back to two of the best years of Kyler Murray's career in terms of production, even just team success, he had prime D-Hop as his wide receiver 1. And on the other side of DeAndre Hopkins, he also had AJ Green. So what do those two wide receivers have in common? Well, they are very good vertically outside the numbers and down the field. That offense really specialized in getting those guys in one-on-one matchups, and Kyler just being able to throw a beautiful deep pass down the field, and those guys just make plays one-on-one with a corner. And as a result, Kyler and the Cardinals offense was very, very effective, and Kyler was even an MVP candidate in 2021 before he got banged up. So even just outside of being a very special talent, which Marvin Harrison obviously is, many people consider him as one of the best wide receiver prospects we've seen in a long time. He also fits really nicely with what Kyler Murray loves to do. We saw time and time again his entire collegiate career just running past cornerbacks down the field, or even just getting a 50-50 ball and coming down with it. I mean, in back-to-back years as a sophomore and junior, Harrison had over 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns. And while he did have CJ Stroud for one of those years, his quarterback last season was Cal McCord, who I do not believe is a super great player. So from everything that we've seen from Marvin Harrison in his college career, he's got everything you want in a wide receiver: the size, the speed, the hands, the route running, the ability to come down with contested catches. And now he's going to go into a scheme with a quarterback that specializes in highlighting those skills. So that is why I'm really intrigued to see this duo in action in just a couple of months. If they can get some chemistry down in training camp and work on like the back shoulders and what they're going to do in the red zone, I would not be surprised to see Marvin Harrison have a truly amazing rookie season. Puka Nacua set the receiving yards record for a rookie wide receiver last year with 1,486. If Harrison and Kyler Murray do stay healthy for 17 games, I really do think Harrison has a shot to break that. I know that sounds crazy because that is over 88 yards a game, but that is how highly I view Harrison as a prospect, and also just the situation that he's going into. And his teammates and coaches are already starting to take notice of just how special of a talent he really is. Second-year cornerback Garrett Williams said, you look at his height and then you look at his movement ability, those two things usually don't match up like that. So for him to do it and make everything look so easily, the ball tracking ability, he's everything people said he is. Fellow wide receiver Michael Wilson, who works as closely as anybody to Harrison on a daily basis, also said, I think he's very perspicacious and always seeking information and very self-aware. And so with the attitude combined with having elite traits that you can't teach and a great natural feel for the position, I truly think sky's the limit for him. He continued and said, he's pretty much everything I expected. He's one of those guys where oftentimes we all have immediate perception, but when you meet someone in person, it can either be way different than they portray themselves to media, maybe the exact same, or maybe a little bit better. He's probably a little bit better. And head coach Jonathan Gannon echoed similar comments as well, saying he's extremely detailed. He does a lot of extra, probably too much. I'm going to be fighting him about that. And quarterback Kyler Murray is probably more excited than any other player on the roster. He said, I think that takes us to another level. When you got a guy out there that is capable of winning one-on-ones, obviously he's got to go do it, and he knows that. We all know it, but as far as manipulating coverage and stuff like that, you got a guy out there that can do that, and even if he's not open, he's open. I'm excited to be able to build that with him, but when he does what he does, yeah, I fully expect our offense to be top of the league. So even despite not suiting up for an actual game so far, the impact of Marv has been felt. But in terms of team success, I feel like the Cardinals are a pretty interesting squad going into 2024. I know some people have picked them to be like a sleeper playoff team, while others still consider them one of the worst teams in the league just due to the roster talent. I personally fall somewhere in the middle of that, but I would not be super surprised if they did sneak in as like the 7th seed. Coming off of back-to-back 4-win seasons, albeit with Kyler Murray missing at least half the season in both, there's still a lot to improve on. But the last two off seasons, the Cardinals have had a lot of capital, and a lot of really, really good capital, since because they've been so bad, they've been top of the draft. In 2023, the focus was the trenches, getting Paris Johnson Jr. and BJ Ojolari. They also grabbed Garrett Williams and Michael Wilson in the 3rd round, two guys that did start last season and will start again this year. And you head to this past year's draft, and the Cardinals once again had 7 picks inside the top 100, which is pretty insane. The top one obviously being Marvin Harrison Jr. and then Darius Robinson, another edge player from Missouri at the end of the first round. The Cardinals secondary a season ago is one of the worst in the league, but they did bring in Sean Murphy-Bunting in free agency on a contract. And on top of having Garrett Williams from a season ago, they added another cornerback in Max Melton out of Rutgers with their second round pick. And then in the middle rounds, it was all about the offense. Trey Benson, a running back from Florida State, Isaiah Adams, an offensive guard, to step in right away and start from Illinois, and then Tip Raymond, his teammate, another player from Illinois. So when you have that much top-end capital in the past couple of drafts, you're getting some fairly talented players. So this roster has been overhauled a decent amount in the last 2 off seasons, but what also goes hand in hand with that is they're also still a very, very young roster. But I thought general manager Monty Ossenfort also did a fairly decent job in free agency to just add some veterans in key spots. For example, like Jonah Williams, an offensive tackle from the Cincinnati Bengals, a former first-round pick who has been pretty up and down in his career, but he's a guy that's going to step in right away and play right tackle opposite of Paris Johnson Jr. And ultimately, it's a pretty low-risk, high-reward move because Williams did not get paid a whole lot of money. I already mentioned Sean Murphy-Bunting coming to Arizona on a 3-year deal, but they also brought in defensive tackle Bilal Nichols, linebacker Mack Wilson Sr. from the New England Patriots, and another defensive tackle in Justin Jones from the Chicago Bears. So that's 4 new veteran starters that are going to be added to this defense, which was ranked 31st in the league in points per game allowed last season. You add in a couple of the premium picks they made on the defensive side of the ball as well, and I do like where the Cardinals defense is at heading into next season. Offensively, the Cardinals didn't have that much turnaround this offseason on that unit, but in my opinion, it's for pretty good reason. James Conner will be back at running back. He's proven to be a very solid back in the league. Michael Wilson will be the wide receiver 2, with Greg Dortch being the slot guy, 2 guys that did play fairly well last season. Trey McBride at tight end, one of the best up-and-coming guys in the league. And then the offensive line is roughly going to be the same as well, bringing back 3 starters and a couple of upgrades at left guard and right tackle. So compared to where the Cardinals were just a couple of seasons ago, I really do like the direction of this franchise now. You've got a couple of proven star players across the team. I think Kyler Murray fits into that category. I think Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. along with Paris Johnson Jr. are well on their way as well to become stars. You go to defense, I really like BJ Ojulari. I like Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker in the secondary as well. So there are some pieces to be very excited for heading into next year. I just still have questions if that is enough currently to get the Cardinals over the hump and into the postseason. But I think the most important thing for the Arizona Cardinals next season is just keeping Kyler Murray healthy and continuing to see some improvement and development from him. I don't think it's crazy to say that Kyler is one of the most gifted quarterbacks in the league. We've seen his ability time and time again to run around, make something happen out of nothing, extend the play. I mean, truly, I do not think there's many quarterbacks in the NFL that have a better highlight tape than Kyler Murray, but it's just about him taking that next step as a leader, being a little bit more consistent and showing up when the team needs him most. And if he can figure out some of those things, he does have the talent to be a true elite quarterback in the league. And I think next year we're going to see him kind of get back to that because of the weaponry he has around him. And again, getting a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. who fits exactly what he likes to do. But I want to know what you think about the Arizona Cardinals and what you expect from them and Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2024. Do you think the Cardinals can make the playoffs, and do you think Marvin Harrison Jr.'s impact will be big enough to potentially lead them there? Or do you still think they're a couple years away before they can truly be seen as a contender in the NFC? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But subscribe to the channel if you are new, drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.